The Imperial fleet had never faced defeat. From the cold moons of Duraxis to the burning clouds of Vernate, their ships had swept across the stars like fire through dry grass. Planet after planet fell. Species surrendered before a single shot was fired. Their symbol, 3 black stars in a red circle, was feared across the galaxy. Now, their fleets entered Sol. The humans called it their home system. A yellow star, a few dead rocks, one green-blue planet with strange weather and a short history. The Imperium's maps labeled it simply Earth, category, pre-warp, status, unarmed. Hundreds of ships slid into orbit. Massive dreadnoughts and black-armored command carriers formed a wall above the planet. Their engines hummed low, like beasts preparing to strike. Admiral Krellin stood on the bridge of the flagship Phalanx Fist, arms behind his back. His golden armor shimmered in the glow of Earth's sun. Around him, officers laughed and pointed at the spinning globe on their holodisplays. Pathetic, one said. They still burn gas to fly. Their weapons use bullets. Why are we even here? Another joked. Send a warning shot. That should be enough. Krellin smiled. No. The Emperor wants obedience, not hashes. We give them a choice. He turned to the comms officer. Send the standard message. The officer nodded and tapped the glowing panel. A moment later, the signal shot across the void to Earth. The message was cold and direct. You are now under Imperial protection. Submit immediately or be destroyed. This is your only chance. Room fell silent. Everyone waited. 10 seconds. 20. A full minute passed. Then, a reply came. It was short. Voice only. Calm. No background noise. A woman's voice spoke. Do not come closer. This is your final warning. Silence. Then laughter. It started with one officer. Then another. The whole bridge burst into loud, cruel laughter. Krellin chuckled, shaking his head. They still think words can stop war. He raised his hand. Begin descent. Let them see our power. The ships moved, like a wave of metal, and, light, the fleet began its slow glide toward Earth's atmosphere. Satellites burned away in their path. Earth's sky turned silver with the reflection of their hulls. And then the cruiser Lanthus vanished. No warning. No sound. It was there 1 second, then gone. The bridge lights turned red. Krellin frowned. Report. What just happened? No. Impact. No explosion. No signal, a technician said, eyes wide. She just disappeared. What about debris? None. It's like she was erased. Krellin stepped forward. Get visuals from the nearby ships. Now. Screens flickered. Multiple feeds from different angles. All showed the same thing. The Lanthus had been leading the lower flank. Then, a blur. A distortion like space had been twisted. Then nothing. Where the ship had been, there was only empty sky. No energy spike? Krellin demanded. None. Was it cloaked tech? No known device could do this. Krellin narrowed his eyes. Could it be an accident? Admiral, the comms officer whispered. There's another message. He turned. A second. Signal had been sent from Earth. This time, the message wasn't a voice. It was just one word, glowing red across every console. 1. The bridge fell into silence again. 1? An officer asked. What does that mean? Another ship vanished. This time, the Vashtara gunship with thick armor. Gone. No blast. No trace. Just ... erased. The crew began to panic. This is impossible. It has to be sabotage. No enemy can do this. Krellin clenched his fists. He turned to his officers. Get every ship into defensive formation. Prepare countermeasures. I want every scanner, every drone, Everything we have focused on that planet. Yes, Admiral. The fleet shifted. Lines of ships pulled back. Defensive shields went up. Drones flew ahead in clouds. But even as they moved, a third ship vanished. Now the panic was real. Someone screamed. Alarms blared. Officers shouted across the bridge. Krellin's voice cut through the chaos. Calm yourselves. We are the Empire. We do not run from shadows. And yet, his hands were shaking. He turned to the Earth hologram again. The blue and green planet spun slowly, as if mocking them. No fleets. No weapons. Just a warning. And now, 3 ships gone. The Emperor had said this mission would be easy. But Krellin was starting to think. They were wrong. The Imperial fleet floated proudly in Earth's orbit. Thousands of warships shimmered under the sun. These ships had destroyed hundreds of worlds before. No one had ever stood against them. But now, one ship was gone. Just gone. No explosions. No alarms. No trace. It had been there 1 second then. Vanished the next. The bridge of the command ship, Dominance Eternal, fell silent. Admiral Korvik, a tall and cold-eyed Sirican, stood slowly. Run the footage again, he ordered. The hologram flickered. It showed the fleet in formation. Then, frame by frame, one battleship, the Hammerlight, blinked out of existence. No enemy signals. No anomalies. Just missing. Korvik clenched his jaw. This is not possible. Find out what happened. The crew obeyed, but tension filled the room. Another voice spoke. From the shadows of the bridge, General Varak, commander of the Empire's planetary forces, stepped forward. Perhaps Earth has hidden weapons. Korvik laughed bitterly. They have rocks, clouds, and broken satellites. No ships. No allies. Just that silly warning message. Varak raised a brow. Still, the ship is gone. Below the fleet, Earth remains silent. No ships launched. No defenses activated. Just clouds and blue oceans. It looked harmless, peaceful, but something was off. In the depths of space, near the edge of the fleet, the cruiser Black Gauntlet prepared to scan the missing area. It sent out probe drones. The probes moved slowly, scanning every particle of space where the Hammerlight had last been. At first nothing. Then, static. One of the probes sent back a blurry image. A shadow. Just a flash. Tall. Narrow. Wrong. The crew aboard Black Gauntlet leaned in. What is that? Before they could zoom in, the feed cut out. The probe was gone too. Admiral Korvik's patience cracked. He slammed a hand onto the console. This is nonsense. These creatures barely left their moon. Still, the bridge crew stared at their screens with pale faces. Another ship, Iron Wasp, reported strange signals. Low-frequency pulses. Like whispers. They're coming from Earth's North Pole, said the technician. But it doesn't make sense. The signal is ancient. Older than their satellites. Older than even their cities. Korvik narrowed his eyes. What is Earth hiding? No one answered. Far below, deep beneath the Arctic ice, something stirred. Not a machine. Not a ship. A structure. Buried long ago. Quiet, cold. Until now. Inside, lights blinked to life red and slow. Something was waking up. Something old. Human, but beyond human. It had listened. It had waited. And now, with the Empire in orbit, it was time. Back on the Dominance Eternal, Korvik barked orders. Send drones to the pole. Scan every inch. I want answers. But the drones never reached it. Each one vanished mid-flight. One after another. Now, fear spread through the fleet. Varak whispered, we should pull back, just to regroup. Korvik snapped, we don't retreat from insects. That night, in the Imperial officer barracks, stories began to spread. Some soldiers swore they saw shadows moving across the stars. Others said they heard voices in their dreams, speaking in ancient human tongues. One junior officer, pale and shaking, reported that his display screen had flashed a message. Just 2 words: keep watching. At midnight fleet time, a new signal came in from deep space. A message bouncing off hidden satellites, encrypted in old Earth code. No one could trace the source. It simply played once, then disappeared. The message said, "We told you. This is your final chance. Turn around, or we make you leave." Admiral Korvik sneered. "They're bluffing." He gave the order. All ships move to low orbit. Prepare for full invasion. The command echoed across the fleet, but Earth remained quiet. Silent. Still. Until one final thing happened. As the first wave of ships lowered into the atmosphere, an old human satellite, thought to be broken, rotated slowly. It locked onto the lead ship. And smiled. Yes. It smiled. An artificial face formed on its screen. Then it said 2 words that chilled every heart in the fleet: "You're late." And with that, 3 more ships vanished. No sound. No explosion. Just gone. The Imperial fleet was no longer laughing. A full battlecruiser had vanished. No wreckage, no distress signal. It was their one moment, then nothing. Admiral Vorak stood at the center of the command deck, his 4 eyes locked on the void ahead. "Status of the Karnax?" he barked. A trembling voice from a communications officer replied, "Sir, there's nothing. We can't raise them. No pings, no energy echoes. It's like they were erased. No ship just disappears." Vorak snapped. "Send 3 scouts. Now, full scans." 3 small scout vessels launched silently from the massive fleet, engines burning cold blue as they glided through space toward the last known coordinates of the Karnax. On board the scout-led, pilot Rikyur narrowed his eyes. "This is ridiculous," he muttered. "Humans couldn't have done this. They don't even have a fleet. This has to be a system glitch or black hole anomaly." But as his vessel approached the coordinates, something changed. His HUD started glitching. The stars around him warped like the light was bending unnaturally. Rikyur opened a channel. "Command, are you seeing this?" "My visuals are." His voice cut off. So did his signal. The other 2 scouts panicked. One turned back. The other, braver or dumber, pushed forward. Within seconds, both were gone. No wreckage. No alarms. Just empty space. Back on the flagship, silence fell. The Emperor himself appeared on the main bridge display, his golden armor gleaming under digital light. "What is happening?" he demanded. Admiral Vorak clenched his fists. "We are investigating, Emperor. It appears something may be interfering." The Emperor's eyes narrowed. "Interfering? With the Imperial fleet?" A new alert sounded. "Admiral!" the sensor tech yelled. 3 more ships' destroyers, this time gone. They were orbiting Saturn's rings. They blinked off sensors. The Emperor leaned forward, cold and calm. "What weapon are they using?" "We don't know," Vorak admitted. "There are no energy signatures, no projectiles, no heat trails, nothing." Another alert. This one louder. "Red. Admiral, look." Live feed from one of the outer patrol cruisers appeared. The image was shaky, but clear enough to see something. A shadow. A shape. Huge. Darker than space itself. It didn't shimmer. It didn't glow. It didn't even move in a straight line. It folded forward, like space was being chewed. And then static. The feed was gone. The ship was gone. The silence that followed was colder than the void. The Emperor's voice came slow and sharp. "Is this the humans' doing?" "We don't know, my lord," Vorak whispered. But deep down, he had a feeling. Meanwhile, on Earth, in an underground facility, Hidden beneath Antarctica's ice shelf, a room full of humans stared at a black screen. Lines of code scrolled rapidly across it. One scientist, older, with gray eyes and a calm voice, spoke softly. "The veil has responded. It's feeding." Another added, "They triggered the perimeter. Protocol 7 is now active." In the shadows of the room, a figure in a sleek, dark suit watched silently. Was that necessary? Someone asked him. The figure didn't turn. They were warned. A third scientist spoke. "The entity is still unstable. If it consumes too much, it will stop when it chooses to." The man in the suit replied. Silence returned. Then he turned slowly. Revealing a patch on his chest, it read, "Project Black Horizon. Initiated. 2071. Status. Contained. Until provoked. Back in orbit." Admiral Vorak gave the order no one thought they'd hear. "Pull the fleet back. All ships retreat to lunar orbit. Defensive formations." One of his captains replied, "Sir, are we retreating from Earth?" Vorak's voice was sharp. "We're not retreating from Earth. We're retreating for whatever is guarding it." Another screen blinked a message. Just 2 words in Earth's language. "You were warned." The silence was heavy. After the destruction of 3 ships, the Empire had stopped moving. The rest of the fleet floated in orbit above Earth, holding position. Hundreds of commanders across dozens of ships stared at blank screens. No enemy, no energy signatures. Just that blue planet below them, quiet. Waiting. Admiral Vok turned to his officers. "Scan again. Find something." They obeyed, running deep scans, radio, subspace, gravimetric. But every time the answer was the same. "There's nothing, sir. Nothing. No weapons. No movement. No sign of how their ships had vanished." One officer whispered, "It's like the planet swallowed them." Vok slammed a fist into the console. "Planets don't swallow ships. This is a trick. A coward's trick." He sent out a galaxy-wide message, beamed in all known languages. "To the species of Earth, you think you can hide behind shadows? We are the Empire. You cannot scare us with games. Come out. Face us or be erased." There was no reply. For 20 minutes, the galaxy held its breath. And then Earth answered. A signal burst through every Imperial channel, overriding their systems. Human language, translated instantly. "You were warned. You crossed the line. Now we respond." Suddenly, space twisted above Earth. It wasn't a weapon. It wasn't even a ship, at least. Not one anyone had seen before. It looked wrong. Like space itself had folded into a shape. A jagged, shifting mass of black metal and glowing blue veins. It floated slowly into view from behind Earth's moon. The crew of the Imperial flagship watched in silence. What is that?" whispered Commander Sertil. Admiral Vok didn't answer. He didn't know the object, if it was a ship, didn't broadcast any signal. It just hovered there, waiting. Then it moved. Not fast, not violent. Just one shift, and an Imperial destroyer over 3 kilometers long crumbled like paper. No fire. No explosion. Just compression. As if the ship had been erased from the inside. Screams echoed across the fleet channels. "We're under attack." Energy weapons? What kind of tech is this? But there was no tech, no beam. Just gravity folding around the ship's-like space obeyed this human thing. Across the galaxy, news spread. Pirate crews in the Outer Rim went silent. Trade empires paused their convoys. The Galactic Council held emergency meetings. Every species who had called Earth a joke now watched with cold fear, because Earth hadn't just built a weapon. They'd built a response. Something old, something hidden, something not meant to be used unless Earth was pushed to its edge. And now it was awake, Back above Earth, Admiral Vok stared at the remaining fleet. "Pull back," he ordered, his voice low and shaken. "But the Emperor's orders." "I don't care about the Emperor," Vok shouted. "This is not war. This is execution." He turned back to the screen. The human construct still floated. There, UNOVING dot, like it was waiting dot, or judging dot final scene. On Earth, deep below the Atlantic Ocean, inside an ancient human command bunker, an old general watches the feed. He leans forward and mutters, "Phase 1 complete. Let them run. Let them panic." He presses a button. A second signal is sent. This one isn't a warning dot. It's a beacon, and across the galaxy, something else starts moving. The silence didn't last dot. After the third Imperial ship vanished, fear spread through the Empire's command like poison. Admiral Karath barked orders, but no one moved with confidence anymore. Sensors still showed nothing. No ships, no weapons. No traces. Just one moment there, the next gone. Like the universe itself had swallowed them. Karath's voice trembled slightly as he turned to the comms officer. "Contact the Emperor. Tell him Earth is not defenseless." But before the message could be sent, a new signal appeared. Not from Earth, not from space, not from inside their own fleet. Every screen across the chew. Imperial Armada flickered dot, then dash black dot. An old human voice came through the static. Calm, cold. "You were warned. This is not your space anymore." The fleet scrambled. "Where's it coming from?" "Trace it," shouted Karath. But the AI systems weren't responding. Instead, ship lights flickered off one by one. Life support powered down. Engines died. The great Empire's fleet became silent metal tombs drifting in Earth's orbit. Karath tried manual. Override, slamming his fist on the command console. Nothing. Suddenly, one of the junior officers screamed. On the central viewing screen, thousands of small human satellites began to glow red. Not weapons, not traditional systems, but something else, something old, forgotten, and terrifying. Project Obsidian, classified even among Earth's own governments. Earth had built a minefield, not of explosives, but of quantum disruptors, unseen, untouchable, waiting for activation. And now, they were active. Imperial ships began tearing themselves apart from the inside. Hull fractures. Gravity cores imploding. Ships turning in on themselves like crumpled paper. Not one human had fired a shot. And yet, the Empire was bleeding. Some tried to flee. A few vessels ignited emergency warp. But those who did never arrived. Whatever Earth had placed in the Sol system, it didn't allow retreat. Karath's hands shook as he stared into the void beyond the glass. How? They were primitives. They were nothing. A voice echoed again. Not from a comm. Not from a console, but directly into his mind. "You looked at Earth and saw a rock. We looked at you and saw a threat. Now we respond. On Earth, deep beneath the oceans, a hidden facility unlocked for the first time in 200 years. Massive silos turned skyward, each housing a weapon with no name. Humanity had never planned to win a war. They planned to end one. The skies over Earth burned red. But not from fire. From the power building in the deep waiting. Back in space, Admiral Karath finally broke. He fell to his knees, whispering to himself, "Please, we surrender." But no one answered. And behind him, the bridge doors slid open with a hiss. Metal footsteps echoed inside. A human figure stepped forward, suit black as night, visor glowing faintly red. One of the sleepers. Earth's final insurance policy. The figure said only one sentence. The Empire ends now. And with that, everything faded to black. The Imperial fleet was no more. where once thousands of ships hovered in proud formation. Now there was only silence, darkness, and debris. Admiral Korvik, commander of the Empire's last dreadnought, stood in frozen shock. His face was pale. His hands trembled. The Empire's might reduced to ashes by something he still couldn't explain. The Earth hadn't fired missiles, no energy beams, no boarding parties. They had simply warned. And then it began. One ship at a time, the fleet vanished. Some exploded without sound. Others blinked out of sensors as if pulled into a void. And a few worse still broadcast their last moments. The terrified screams. The sudden, unnatural shadows that moved like ghosts. Korvik's ship now floated, alone above Earth. And Earth had not spoken again. No demands. No reply, just silence. Scan the planet again, Korvik ordered, trying to hide the fear in his voice. His officers obeyed. The sensors returned the same data. No space stations. No orbital. Weapons, no shipyards. Just one blue planet. And nothing else. It's not possible, the science officer whispered. They don't have anything. Korvik clenched his fists. Then how did they destroy the fleet? The room stayed silent. No one answered. No one could dot down on Earth. Deep beneath Antarctica, a vault slowly opened. Inside was a single chamber. No guards, no alarms. Just a terminal glowing with blue light. And one woman standing alone, Dr. Evelyn Rook. She had been humanity's last safeguard, the keeper of Earth's final defense. Something not even most world leaders knew existed. It wasn't a weapon in the normal sense. It was something older, hidden, born not from science, but from what humans had once called myths. An entity, something Earth had sealed long ago, fearing its power even more than the stars. But they had always kept it, just in case. And today, Evelyn had whispered a chi. Single command. Now. It was awake. Above Earth, on Korvik's ship, red lights flashed again. Admiral, a technician shouted. We're detecting gravitational shifts. No tears around the ship. Multiple. They're closing in. From where? What's the source? The technician's voice broke. Everywhere, sir. They're not coming from Earth. They're opening around us. The hull groaned. Screams echoed through the ship as the lights flickered. Gravity twisted. Time felt slower. Shadows in the corners of the bridge began to move, without light, without shape. Watching, Korvik turned to the screen. Earth remained still. No attack. Just a blue planet, silently warning them one last time. Activate the FTL. We're retreating, Korvik shouted. But it was too late. One by one, his crew vanished. Not taken by weapons, but by something unseen. Something ancient. He tried to call for help. Tried to scream orders, but sound no longer existed on the bridge. And then there was nothing. Just an empty ship. Orbiting Earth. Alone. 3 weeks later, the Imperial Council received the last data log from Korvik's ship. They listened to his final words. They watched the footage. They saw the shadows. Silence. And Earth calm, untouched. Panic spread across the Empire. How did they do this? Was it a weapon? No, it was something else. Something worse. For the first time in centuries, the Empire recalled its fleets. It abandoned its plans to conquer Earth. Because they now understood the message. Earth was not defending itself. Earth was protecting the galaxy from what it had buried. And they had just let it loose.